Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves for two-nation visit to Brunei and Singapore. First ever bilateral visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei to bolster cooperation in space and defence. US President Joe Biden says Israeli PM Netanyahu not doing enough to secure hostage deal. Netanyahu seeks forgiveness over hostage deaths as protests continue. Britain to partially halt arms sales to Israel. Venezuela issues arrest warrant for opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez as part of criminal probe into the results of the disputed July election. And in sports, India's Sumit Antil wins second consecutive Paralympics gold in javelin throw F64 event, sets a new Paralympics record of 70.59 meters. Well, on to the details now. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has embarked for Brunei during his two-nation visit to Southeast Asia. In his departure statement, PM Modi said, and I quote, "Today, I am embarking on a first-ever bilateral visit to Brunei Darussalam. As we celebrate the 40 years of our diplomatic relations, I look forward to my meetings with Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah and other esteemed members of the royal family to advance our historical relationship to new heights." From Brunei, I will travel to Singapore on 4th of September. I look forward to the opportunity to meet President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong and Emeritus Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong. I will also meet with leaders of the Singapore's vibrant business community. I look forward to my discussions to deepen our strategic partnership with Singapore, particularly in new and emerging areas of advanced manufacturing, digitalization and sustainable development. Both countries are important partners in our Act East policy and the Indo-Pacific vision. I am confident that my visits would further strengthen our partnership with Brunei, Singapore and the larger ASEAN region. And DD India correspondent Munmun Bhattacharya reports from its capital city, Bandar Seri Begawan, on what to expect from the visit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Brunei Darussalam, a tiny state situated on the northern coast of the island of Borneo along the South China Sea, starting Tuesday. This visit is going to be significant because it's going to be the first ever bilateral visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Brunei Darussalam.
The relationship between India and Brunei has steadily evolved, with defence cooperation being a key component. The exchange of naval visits and the participation of Bruneian nationals in various capacity building courses in India underscore the growing defence and educational ties between the two countries. Trade relationship is important, especially in the context of India's energy security, because every year India imports crude oil worth $500 to $600 million from Brunei Darussalam, which is rich in oil and gas reserves. Both sides also cooperate in space and health sectors and promote people-to-people exchanges. The presence of a vibrant Indian diaspora in Brunei, particularly in the oil and gas industries, construction and healthcare sectors, further strengthens the bilateral relationship. Ties between the two countries are important even from a regional perspective. Brunei Darussalam was the country coordinator for India in ASEAN for 3 years, from July 2012 to June 2015, and played an important role in bringing India closer to ASEAN.
As India continues to implement its Act East policy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Brunei Darussalam is expected to reinforce India's strategic footprint in the Southeast Asian region, fostering greater cooperation in key sectors and also paving the way for a more integrated and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. With cameraman Kumar Datta, this is Munmun Bhattacharya from Brunei Darussalam for DD India.
And for more, we have Munmun Bhattacharya joining us from Brunei for more. Munmun, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on an official visit to Brunei and is about to reach in some time from now. Before leaving, he said this visit will advance the historical relationship between the two countries to new heights. What's on the agenda and lined up for today?
Yes, Lipakshi, a lot is expected during the visit of the Prime Minister because as we've been saying, this is going to be the first ever bilateral visit of an Indian Prime Minister. 2024 is an important year in India-Brunei relationship because it marks 40 years since the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries in 1984. Having said that, over the last several decades, we've seen close cooperation in a number of sectors between India and Brunei Darussalam. There is close cooperation in the defense sector, in space sector, and also in terms of energy security and people-to-people contacts and cultural ties. So, besides, of course, the Indo-Pacific region. So, all these are areas where we expect some forward movement. If we come to defense, that we know that an MOU on defense was signed in 2016. Then it was renewed for 5 years in 2021. Now some forward movement is expected on establishment of a joint working group on defense. Now we must mention here that reciprocal visits keep taking place of Indian naval ships and Indian Coast Guard ships and Royal Brunei naval ships to the Brunei shores as well as to Indian shores. For instance, there was an exercise that was conducted. It was called Milan 2012 in Andamans, and a Royal Bruneian ship had participated in that multilateral naval exercise. 2 years later, in 2014, another Royal Bruneian naval ship came to the Mumbai shores. So that's about the kind of visits that have taken place from Brunei. Even from India, a lot of such visits have taken place. For instance, INS Rana and INS Kulish went to Bruneian shores in 2006 in fact, and even in 2024 in April and May this year there have been visits like the Indian Coast Guard ship Samudra Pehredar as well as INS Kilton. So these visits have taken place, so that shows that there is strategic trust between the two sides. There are training exercises, there are capacity building exercises, there's participation in online and physical defense courses and expositions and exhibitions. So that's about the defense partnership. Now, if we come to space, then in 2000, the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, had set up a telemetry, tracking and command station here in Brunei Darussalam. And with that, there is constant and close monitoring and tracking of progress that is done of the eastward launches of satellite vehicles as well as launch vehicles and satellites. So that again has a very strategic import to it, and in exchange what India does is that it helps the space scientists of Brunei Darussalam in terms of research and training, and we expect some forward movement in terms of an agreement in the space sector. If we move on to the energy sector, then energy security is very critical to this relationship because bulk of our imports are of hydrocarbons, of crude oil as well as of natural gas, and India is looking at a long-term arrangement. It wants to seal long-term supply contracts of natural gas, particularly from Brunei Darussalam to India, because it expects that the demand for natural gas in India is only going to grow with time. And as far as the Indo-Pacific is concerned, then in May 2023, India co-hosted the inaugural India-ASEAN maritime exercise in the South China Sea. 7 countries participated in it. India, as I said, was the co-host, and Brunei Darussalam had also participated. Brunei is a silent claimant of its maritime claims in the South China Sea. It does not enter into any sort of conflict with China, and that is why I'm saying that it is a silent claimant of its exclusive economic zone borders in the South China Sea. It hedges between the United States as well as China in order to promote and protect its interests. That, of course, is going to be a crucial focus of Prime Minister's visit, the focus on Act East, on Sagar, which is security and growth for all in the region, as well as larger Indo-Pacific, in order to ensure there's greater prosperity and integration here, as well as we have an open and secure Indo-Pacific region where there is freedom of navigation and sovereignty claims are protected.
All right, Munmun, thank you so much for all that update. Indeed, a lot of it planned for today for the Prime Minister's visit to Brunei. And moving on, India's Prime Minister will visit Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque in Brunei. PM Modi will also meet members of the Indian community. DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya reports for more from Brunei and Darussalam.
After India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Brunei Darussalam's capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, on Tuesday, one of his key engagements would be at the Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque. He would pay respects at the mosque and also meet members of the Indian diaspora here.
The Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque takes its name from its builder, the father of the present Sultan, and his predecessor, Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin. He was the 28th Sultan of Brunei. His vision of a grand mosque took 4 years to build. It was finally completed in 1958. The design was heavily influenced by Mughal architecture in India.
We have had very deep historical linkages with, as you would know in history, this island was known as the Borneo Island, and Indian sailors, traders, merchants, pilgrims, preachers, Buddhist pilgrims, they had been sailing these waters. And from the pre-modern, pre-medieval and pre-Islamic times, there have been very deep ties between India and Borneo Island, the residents of this island.
Only the finest materials were used in its construction: Shanghai granite and Italian marble, stained glass and crystal chandeliers from England, fine carpets from Saudi Arabia, and a dome covered in gold leaf.
We are very proud to welcoming our Honorable Prime Minister to Brunei Darussalam. Everybody join, we get together, and we are welcoming our Honorable Prime Minister to Brunei Darussalam.
It's one of the iconic mosques here in Brunei. So our Prime Minister coming here and visiting this place, it's like thoroughly we really honored visiting.
The mosque's 52-meter high minaret makes it the tallest building in central Bandar Seri Begawan. The Indian diaspora is excited to meet the Prime Minister at the mosque.
Bruneian Indians or Indian Bruneians, we are waiting for our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Here we go, Modi, Modi, Modi.
We can't wait. As you can hear, Modi, Modi chants have already started just before his landing, and we want to be doing it tomorrow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi lives in us because he is the energy for not the country, for the whole world.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the mosque is being seen as significant to boost people-to-people ties between India and the Islamic Sultanate of Brunei.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had earlier visited mosques in various countries in Southeast Asia and West Asia. In those visits, he has taken the message of peace, piety, harmony and inclusiveness, all inherent to the faith of Islam, to the people and leadership of those countries. The Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque will soon be the latest addition to that list. With cameraman Kumar Datta, this is Munmun Bhattacharya from Bandar Seri Begawan for DD India.
And as India's Prime Minister is all set to visit the city of Bandar Seri Begawan, let's take a look at what makes it so special. DD India's Munmun Bhattacharya reports for more.
The capital and largest city of Brunei Darussalam is Bandar Seri Begawan. The city is a financial and administrative center and is known for a river port called Muara Port.
Bandar Seri Begawan's landmarks include the gold-domed Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque, which is among the largest mosques in Southeast Asia, Istana Nurul Iman, the 1,788-room Royal Palace, and the Hassan al-Bolkiah National Stadium. Alongside the modern city is an older settlement called Kampong Ayer or Water Village. Here, people live in houses raised on stilts along inlets of the river. A network of raised wooden walkways connects the houses. A water village probably existed in this region as early as the 600s. The modern city became the capital of Brunei in 1920, and until 1970, it was called Brunei Town.
Bandar Seri Begawan was once predominantly an agricultural trade center and a river port. but it suffered extensive damage during the Second World War, after which it was largely rebuilt and became the country's financial and administrative center with a port at the mouth of River Muara. With cameraman Kumar Datta, this is Munman Paracharya from Bandar Seri Begawan for DD India.
Well, after Brunei and Darussalam, Prime Minister Modi will be visiting Singapore, which is being seen as a historic one and is likely to strengthen the relations between the two strategic allies. DD India correspondent Akshay Dongre spoke with Indian High Commissioner in Singapore, Dr. Shilpak Ambule, on the upcoming visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is PM Modi's 6th visit to the Southeast Asian nation.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Singapore, which is going to be his 5th visit. The last 4 visits were in his first term, and the last visit took place in 2018. Even in Singapore, a new government has taken over. Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has taken over the Prime Minister's office in the month of May. And this is in many ways a historic visit by the Indian PM. And to give more details about it, we have with us His Excellency Dr. Shilpak Ambule, the High Commissioner of India to Singapore. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us. Can we get more details about this upcoming visit?
It's a very important and a historic visit. It's Prime Minister's 5th visit, as you rightly mentioned. Now, a visit very early on in his 3rd term is really, really historic because Prime Minister Lawrence Wong also has taken office in May, and a meeting between 2 prime ministers very early on in their respective tenures will set the course for our bilateral relationship in the next decade or so. It's also the 10th year of our strategic partnership. It also is the beginning of the 60th year of our diplomatic relations.
India and Singapore also have a very unique mechanism. So in what terms does it set the relation between the two countries apart when we look at other countries in the ASEAN region?
Well, it's a very unique mechanism. I don't think we have it with any other country, nor does Singapore have such a mechanism with any other country. It started in the first meeting of the ISMR, started in September of 2022. And that time we had identified 4 pillars of cooperation. One is the digital space, skills, health and medical care, and one was the connectivity part. This year, the second ISMR, we've increased the number of ministers. There were 6 ministers on the Singapore side and 4 ministers on our side. Also on the sidelines, we have what we call as India-Singapore Business Roundtable. Right. So there are certain CEOs on either side from specific sectors who participate in that meeting, and they also come out with an action plan. So the areas of cooperation which we have identified in advanced manufacturing, sustainability, green growth, green hydrogen.
Prime Minister, soon after coming to power, focused on Act East policy. In fact, he announced the successor of Look East policy. So where do we find Singapore in this vision?
Well, it's almost 10 years now of our Act East policy as well. And Singapore has played a very, very crucial role, not only in the implementation of the Act East policy, but our engagement with ASEAN and our Indo-Pacific policy and its implementation. Singapore has a very crucial role to play. As you see, Singapore is very well connected within ASEAN. Singapore has been our ASEAN coordinator for the last 3 years, during which we elevated our India-ASEAN strategic partnership to comprehensive strategic partnership.
Thank you so much, sir. With camera person SP Dubey, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Russian President Putin in Mongolia on 2-day state visit. New gas pipeline connecting Russia and China top on the agenda. US President Joe Biden and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris campaign together for the first time. We'll show you the museum in Vienna dedicated to Austrian artist Hunter Twasser, showcasing his bold artworks. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on. Updates now related to Gaza conflict. Intense street protest over Prime Minister Netanyahu's handling of ceasefire negotiations entered a second night in Israel. Israeli protesters took to the streets for a second day on Monday, and the largest trade union launched a general strike after the bodies of 6 people held in Gaza were returned to Israel. The latest demonstrations come after hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets in protest across the country on Sunday, with some demonstrators blocking a major highway in Tel Aviv. Many wore Israeli flags and hung yellow ribbons, a symbol of solidarity with the hostages, from a bridge overlooking the Ayalon highway. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu has asked for forgiveness from Israelis for failing to return the hostages, but Israel's Prime Minister struck a defiant tone, insisting its troops must control Gaza's Philadelphia corridor, saying it was vital for Israel to control a key lifeline for Hamas. Strategically important strip of land has been a sticking point in negotiations with Hamas. Israeli troops have uncovered dozens of tunnels they say have been used to smuggle weapons and ammunition into Gaza.
The pressure internationally must be directed at these killers, at Hamas, not at Israel. We say yes, they say no all the time, but they also murdered these people. And now we need maximum pressure on Hamas. I don't believe that either President Biden or anyone serious about achieving peace and achieving the release would seriously ask Israel to make these concessions. We've already made them. Hamas has to make the concession.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has said that Netanyahu was not doing enough to secure a hostage deal and ceasefire with Hamas. Biden, however, said that he was still in the middle of negotiations for the deal amid reports suggesting a new proposal would be sent to the Israeli Prime Minister as final.
We're still in negotiation, not with him, with my colleagues from Qatar and from Egypt.
Well, Hamas armed wing on its part said that since June, the group has been operating under new instructions on how to handle hostages should Israeli forces approach their locations in Gaza. It added that hostages would return to Israel inside coffins if military pressure continued. Hamas said new instructions have been issued to the guards for the prisoners regarding dealing with them if the occupation army approached their place of detention. Well, pressure also mounted internationally on Israel as the UK suspended some arms sale to Israel, citing a risk of equipment being used to violate international law. Britain will immediately suspend 30 of its 350 arms export licenses with Israel. UK Foreign Minister David Lammy said the decision did not amount to a blanket ban or an arms embargo, but only involve those that could be used in the ongoing conflict.
This is not an arms embargo. It targets around 30, approximately 350 licenses to Israel in total for items which could be used in the current conflict in Gaza. The rest will continue.
Well, among the items that will come under the suspension will be components for military aircraft, including fighter jets, helicopters and drones. Experts say the development is significant as it may open up an avenue for the US to do the same. And Israel termed the UK's move as disappointing and says it sends problematic message to Hamas and its Iranian backers. Foreign Minister Israel Katz said in a statement that Israel was disappointed by a series of decisions made by the British government, including the decision regarding defense exports. And a quick update on polio vaccination drive in Gaza. Medical teams have vaccinated around 160,000 children after 2 days in a complex campaign. The 6-day vaccination campaign aims to reach about 640,000 under 10 years old children. It comes after the first polio case in 25 years in Gaza was discovered in mid-August. Both Israel and Hamas are supporting the efforts. And now some updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Mongolia for a two-day state visit on Monday. Putin will likely to focus on talks on a new gas pipeline connecting Russia and China. Russia has been in talk for years about building the pipeline to carry 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas a year from its Yamal region to China via Mongolia. Putin will also participate in World War II memorial event and will meet Mongolia's president and other officials of the country. Meanwhile, Putin also mentioned that Russian forces are advancing faster in eastern Ukraine, taking several square kilometers per day. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency in Kyiv after his official visit to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. In a post on social media X, the nuclear watchdog Rafael Grossi said that he is visiting the nuclear plant and will continue to assist and help prevent a nuclear accident. Early on Monday, Zelensky said it is not possible for Ukraine to take back control of the plant. Also, Russian forces launched a missile attack on Ukraine's central city of Dnipro on Monday. Dnipropetrovsk regional governor Serhiy Lysak said the attack killed one person and injured three. Several residents had also been damaged in one of the city's districts. Earlier, the Air Force Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine had warned of a ballistic missile threat in Dnipro. Also, children in Kharkiv celebrated the start of the new school year underground in improvised classrooms created in metro stations as shelter from Russian missiles. 3 more underground schools are being built and will accommodate more than 2,000 children. The local authorities said they plan to open underground schools in each district of the city. The development of metro classes was welcomed by parents as they said it was important for children to interact as well as stay safe. Kharkiv schools have been forced to teach online throughout the conflict. While Venezuela's Attorney General's office on Monday issued an arrest warrant for the opposition's former presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez. The warrant was issued at the request of authorities after Gonzalez failed to respond to 3 summons to testify about an opposition website which published detailed results of the country's disputed presidential election. The website is being investigated for usurping the function of the Electoral Authority, which says President Nicolas Maduro won the July 20th contest but has not published detailed results. Venezuela's National Electoral Authority and its top court have said Maduro was the victor of the election with just over half of the votes, but tallies posted by the opposition show a resounding victory for Gonzalez. And the United States has seized a plane belonging to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, claiming it was brought illegally for $13 million and smuggled out of the country. According to the U.S. Justice Department, the Falcon 900EX aircraft was seized in the Dominican Republic and transferred to the U.S. state of Florida. The seizure comes as the U.S. has increased the pressure on Maduro's government after contested elections in July. In a statement, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said that the aircraft was illegally purchased through a shell company and smuggled out of the U.S. for use by Nicolas Maduro and his cronies. And U.S. President Joe Biden and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris campaigned together for the first time on Monday in a public display of teamwork after she replaced him as candidate and revived Democratic election hopes. Seeking to attract voters in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania, the pair met union members in Pittsburgh before standing side by side to speak to about 600 supporters. Biden repeatedly name-checked Vice President Harris, who's in a close race to beat Donald Trump to the White House on the 5th of November. He reaffirmed his support to Harris.
Folks, we made a lot of progress, and Kamala and I are going to build on that progress, and she's going to build on it. I'll be on the sidelines, but I'll do everything I can to help. We got one more job to do together. Let me ask you, are you ready to fight? Yeah! Are you ready to win? Yeah! Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris our next President of the United States of America? And in the process are ready to make Donald Trump a loser again?
Well, addressing the rally, Kamala Harris hits out at her Republican rival Donald Trump and showed confidence on her win.
As we fight to move forward, Donald Trump is trying to pull us backward, including back to a time before workers had the freedom to organize.
He's going to jail!
Well, the courts will handle that, and we will handle November. How about that? We'll handle November. Let the courts handle another thing.
Well, a museum in Vienna dedicated to Austrian artist Hundert Wasser is a vibrant homage to his eclectic and visionary body of work. The museum showcases 170 of his artworks, including paintings, graphics characterized by bold colors, organic forms, and an aversion to straight lines is evident both in the exhibits and the design of the museum itself. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll tell you all about preparations to Sri Lankan presidential elections as manifestos are unveiled, listing out the roadmap ahead. Monsoon mayhem continues as rainfall and floods in the Indian states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh batter lives. An eco-friendly Ganesh idol exhibition organized in Rajkot ahead of Ganesh Chaturthi festival.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. And moving on, Sri Lankan Podujana Perumusa presidential candidate Namal Rajapaksa unveiled his election manifesto titled Namal Dekhma at an event in Colombo on Monday. Touted as the key candidates in the race, incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe, SJB candidate Sajid Premadasa and NPP candidate Anura Kumara Disanayaka unveiled their manifestos last week, listing out their policies and roadmap. With the death of one candidate, 38 candidates are now in the fray. The election is scheduled to be held on the 21st of September to elect the 9th executive president. And the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, inaugurated the Abu Dhabi campus of the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, on Monday. The Crown Prince also welcomed its first batch of undergraduate students, marking a historic milestone in international engineering education under the prestigious brand of IIT. Setting up of a campus of IIT in the UAE was part of the vision document launched by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in February 2022, which is a roadmap for expansion of the India-UAE relationship into new areas of collaboration. The inaugural batch of 52 students will pursue BTech degrees in computer science and engineering and energy engineering. Also, India's Minister of Education Dharmendra Pradhan has hailed the inauguration of IIT Delhi Abu Dhabi campus. In a tweet, the minister said, and I quote, "Grateful to the UAE leadership for the continuous support. I look forward to welcome H.H. Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan upon his visit to IIT Delhi on 9th of September. IIT Delhi Abu Dhabi campus, an edifice of India-UAE friendship, unites our two countries together for leveraging the power of knowledge, science and technology for mutual and global prosperity. It also takes forward PM Narendra Modi ji's vision for internationalization of India's education." And in Kolkata, the Anti-Corruption Branch of India's Central Bureau of Investigation has arrested Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, the former principal of RG Kar Medical College, along with 3 others over alleged corruption and financial misconduct at Eastern India's RG Kar Medical College and Hospital. Dr. Ghosh was under investigation for alleged corruption and financial irregularities at the college and hospital, following a directive from a single bench of the Calcutta High Court, which ordered the CBI to probe the matter. In addition to Dr. Ghosh, 2 vendors, Biplav Singh and Suman Hazara, as well as Afsar Ali, the additional director security to Dr. Ghosh, have been arrested on August 24th. Following the orders of the Calcutta High Court, an official FIR was registered by the CBI against Ghosh in the alleged corruption case. An unprecedented rainfall and floods in the Indian state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh over the past 3 days have battered lives. Rescue and relief operations have been intensified as agencies work to manage the situation, and the chief ministers of the 2 states stepped up efforts to tackle the situation. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted more rainfall in some parts of both the states on Tuesday. In Telangana, incessant rainfall caused inundation of low-lying areas, damage to agricultural crops and disruption of the state's rail and road links with neighbouring Andhra Pradesh. The Revanth Reddy government in Telangana has put the damage of 5,000 crore rupees as per preliminary estimates and sought an immediate assistance of 2,000 crore rupees from the centre. And for more, we have Ravi Shankar Murigonga from Guntur joining us. Well, Ravi, heavy rains have caused significant water logging in various parts of Hyderabad. And on top of that, IMD has issued yellow alert for 10 districts today. What is the latest? What is the current situation there?
Yeah, this is a historical flood which was Andhra Pradesh was hit by in Saturday and Sunday, past Saturday and Sunday. And in this historical floods, a heavy downpour, it caused 4.5 lakh people to get affected in the overall in the Andhra Pradesh state. Several revolts in Vijayawada especially, which was the most affected place because of this floods. These several revolts overflooded in Vijayawada, and the total activities of the Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and relief activities, all these things are concentrated in Vijayawada only. If you see the Prakasam barrage, it was observed a flood inflow of 11.42 lakh cusecs yesterday in a time. And today it was a little bit lowered, and it was 9.63 in the morning by 6 a.m. today. And if you see the damage, total 19 people have lost their lives so far in the overall state. And the roads to 18 villages were totally submerged, because of which even the communication, electricity and all was lost in these 18 villages, and at about 15,000 people, they were disconnected from the world in both aspects, communication and electricity also. And Vijayawada Hyderabad highway, which was submerged in very many places, it was totally traffic undriven, and officials requested public to use the alternate route, which is from Nakrekal from Vijayawada to Hyderabad. So the significant damage to the agriculture, if you see, 1,72,542 hectares of paddy, it was totally submerged in the rainwater, and 14,959 hectares of horticulture crops also got damaged. And if we see the relief measures taken by state and central governments now, 41,927 public shifted from low-lying areas all over state to the safe areas, and some rehabilitation centers also. Especially NDRF and SDRF teams are working very well on this. And 2 IL-76 aircraft, they bought at about 242 NDRF personnel to the states, both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and about 30 tons of machinery for the rehabilitation activities to take place in the state.
Right, Ravi. We saw people there traveling in the flood waters, walking there. How is the transportation being managed? How much is it affected?
Especially here we should mention the NDRF teams, which were working with sophisticated modern machinery as well as sophisticated boats. At about 188 boats, speed boats were served by central government to the NDRF teams to participate in the activities, which was using very efficiently by the government as well as NDRF and SDRF. And 171 medical camps also arranged for these people, coordinating with the NDRF.
All right, Ravi, thank you so much for all that update for Guntur. And moving on, India's Union Minister for Tourism and Culture, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, chaired a Tourism Ministers' Conference on Monday in Shillong. The Ministry of Tourism is convening a series of meetings with different regions of the country to bring in more collaboration with all the states and UTs for the overall growth and development of the tourism in the country. Speaking on the occasion, the Tourism and Culture Minister said that India has set new benchmarks under Prime Minister Modi's leadership in the past 10 years. This is the third meeting in the series, the earlier ones being for the northern, central and western regions in Chandigarh, followed by Goa, respectively. And NASA astronauts end a fourth month stranded in space after Boeing Starliner faults. The Boeing Starliner carrying NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore launched from Florida on 5th of June for an intended 8-day mission on the International Space Station. But 3 months later, the former military test pilots are still aboard. After several short-term delays, NASA announced in late August that the crew would return to Earth on a SpaceX vehicle in early 2024 if the Starliner was still deemed unsafe. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. An Indian Air Force MiG-29 fighter jet crashed in Rajasthan's Bama district after developing a critical technical snag. According to IAF, the incident occurred during a routine night training mission, but pilot ejected safely. There was no loss of life or property as the fighter jet fell away from the residential areas. A court of inquiry has been ordered in the crash. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has summoned the content head of OTT platform Netflix, Monica Shergill, over the series IC-814, The Kandahar Hijack, which has triggered a row on social media with a depiction of the hijackers. The Ministry of I&B directed Shergill to appear before it on Tuesday to explain the allegedly contentious aspects of the web series. Schools in Jammu and Kashmir's Riyasi district will remain closed on Tuesday due to bad weather conditions in the region. Meanwhile, authorities in Riyasi have issued an advisory requesting all residents to stay inside their houses and stay away from water bodies due to inclement weather conditions, rain, thunderstorm in the district. Eco-friendly idols of Lord Ganesha attracts a lot of buyers in an exhibition organized in Gujarat's Rajkot ahead of Ganesh Chaturthi festival. The festival celebrates the birthday of Hindu Lord Ganesha, also known as Vinayak Chaturthi or Ganesh Utsav. The festival is marked with installation of Ganesha's clay idols privately in homes and publicly. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll give you all the weather updates from around the world. President of India Draupadi Murmu, PM Modi congratulated javelin thrower Sumit Antil for his gold medal triumph at Paris Paralympics. An Indian para contingent displayed a phenomenal performance, bagging 8 medals on the day 5 at Paris Paralympics. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. Lepakshi Quran, and moving on, efforts continue to extinguish the largest forest fire that has occurred in Ecuador. According to the Risk Management Secretariat of Ecuador, crews from Peru helped join the efforts to put out the flame. The Peruvian armed forces have responded with water discharges of Mi-17 helicopters and Spartan aircrafts with a total of 50,000 gallons of water sprayed over the fire area in Pilanga. SNGR is monitoring 8 active forest fires and 2 others which are already under control in 7 provinces. And more on weather updates. Recent satellite images have revealed widespread smoke blanketing parts of Brazil due to rampant wildfires. These fires, which have especially been severe in the Amazon rainforest and the Cerrado savanna, are contributing to significant environmental damage and heightened concerns about climate change. The smoke from these wildfires is not only affecting local ecosystems but is also spreading across large areas, impacting air quality in several cities and regions. And last year's record drought in the Amazon and less than usual rainfall since have caused river water levels to drop rapidly, hindering navigation by barges carrying grains for exports and cutting off communities that depend on river transport. Authorities have warned of water levels falling since June. All rivers in the Amazon basin are expected to drop below their historical levels. More rain had been expected in the second half of this year, though. And hailstones battered southern Australia as high winds and heavy rain hit the region, causing widespread damage in the states of Victoria and Tasmania. At least 1,100,000 homes remained without power. Weather warnings remained in place for much of the state's southeast coast as winds of almost 150 kilometers per hour lashed the state overnight. And floods and a landslide killed 13 people in the Philippines as tropical storm Yagi dumped heavy rain on the capital Manila and nearby provinces. Yagi brought winds of up to 85 kilometers per hour as it continued to move northwest on Luzon. Philippines typically records an average of 20 tropical storms annually, many of those typhoons, with landslides among the biggest causes of casualties. And the heavy rains and floods during the past few days across Sudan have affected over 190,000 people. Over 60 people were reportedly killed in affected areas, including 2 children killed in Kassala. The flooding caused damage to over 34,000 houses, which left people in dire needs of shelter, sanitation and hygiene services, health and food supplies. UNICEF continues to respond to the urgent needs of children and continues to provide life-saving flood response services. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. First, let's take a look at updates from the Paralympics. Well, para-javelin thrower Sumit Antil scripted history on Monday as he successfully defended his Paralympics gold medal in Paris. Antil took India's gold medal tally to 3 as he broke the Paralympics javelin record twice in the F64 final category at Paralympics 2024 with a best throw of 70.59 meters. Sumit Antil is the second Indian overall after shooter Avani Lekhara to defend the Paralympics title. Also, Indian President Draupadi Murmu took to social media platform to praise the remarkable achievement by Sumit Antil. She said, and I quote, "I convey my heartiest congratulations to Sumit Antil on winning gold medal in men's javelin throw event at the Paris 2024 Paralympics. With his 2 successive Paralympics gold medal and record-setting performances, Sumit has gained a special standing among the champions. His outstanding achievements will inspire countless people, especially the youth." Also, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the player for the exceptional achievement. He said, "Exceptional performance by Sumit. Congratulations to him for winning the gold in the men's javelin F64 event. He has shown outstanding consistency and excellence. Best wishes for his upcoming endeavors." Also, Indian para contingent were on a roll on Monday as India bagged 8 medals on the day 5 at Paris Paralympics. Nitya Sri Sivan bagged the bronze medal in badminton in the SH6 category after beating Indonesia's Rina Malina 21-14, 21-6. The SH6 categories for the athletes who have a short stature and can compete while standing. Nitya currently holds the world #1 rank in the women's single SH6 category. An Indian duo of Sheetal Devi and Rakesh Kumar achieved a significant triumph by securing the bronze medal in the mixed team compound archery competition at the Paralympics. The duo defeated Italy's Eleonora Sarti and Matteo Bonassina with a narrow 156-155 win. The victory comes after a heart-breaking semi-final loss and marks only the second time India has won a medal in archery at the Paralympics. The win is historic for Sheetal as she becomes the first Indian woman to win an archery medal at the Paris Olympics. Meanwhile, Thulasimathi Murugasen also grabbed the silver medal after losing 21-17, 21-10 to Yang Quixi of China in the final of badminton at the Paralympics. Having started at a tender age of 7, Murugasen has gone on to become an accomplished para-athlete. She has won 3 medals at the 2022 Para-Asian Games, including a gold in women's single. The 22-year-old was born with a congenital deformity in her left hand, resulting in the loss of her thumb. A major accident further limited the mobility of her left hand. And another medal in para-badminton has come from Manisha Ramadas, who has won bronze medal after defeating Catherine Rosengren 21-12, 21-8 in straight set at the Paris Paralympics 2024. Earlier, Manisha defeated Japan's Mamiko Toyoda in the women's SU5 category in the quarterfinals. Manisha made her international debut in 2022 and became world #1 in the SU5 category in 2022. She becomes the first Indian woman para-shuttler to win a medal at the Paralympics. And now let's look at the medal tally at Paris Paralympics so far. While China leads the medal tally with 43 gold, 30 silver and 14 bronze, it's followed by Great Britain with 29 gold, 15 silver and 10 bronze, while the United States is at 3rd position with 13 gold, 19 silver and 10 bronze. Meanwhile, India is now at the 15th position with 3 golds, 5 silver and 7 bronze medals. And news now from the world of entertainment. Australian director Peter Weir, known for the movies like The Truman Show, Gallipoli and Dead Poets Society, received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Venice Film Festival on Monday. He advised young filmmakers to unplug to get ahead. Weir, who is 80 years old, made his international breakthrough with the 1975 art house classic Picnic at Hanging Rock before moving on to work in Hollywood. His American movies include Witness starring Harrison Ford, Green Card with Andy McDowell and other hits. He received an honorary Oscar award in 2022 and confirmed earlier this year that he was retiring from directing.
I think I would just say unplug. Get away from too much information. Go somewhere quiet and into the country. Go and work on a merchant ship. Allow your own imagination to develop and not be too overloaded with information. So starting off today, I would say, even don't pick a camera up. I would pick up pencil and paper and write down ideas, thoughts, little short stories. I would practice like a gymnasium, exercising in here, not the muscles, but the mental muscles. We are capable of extraordinary things in here, I think, much more than the internet.
And Spanish filmmaker Pedro Almodovar's first English-language movie screened at the Venice Film Festival on Monday, tackling existential themes like terminal illness and climate disaster through the lens of female friendship. The Room Next Door stars Tilda Swinton as an ailing war reporter who decides to commit suicide rather than wait for terminal cancer to kill her, persuading an old friend played by Julianne Moore to accompany her through her final days. Almodovar told reporters his film, which is set in the United States, highlighted the importance of cherishing life, but said it was also vital to allow people to die with dignity at a time of their choosing.
I mean, it's not an analysis of the American society. No, but I know how to treat two ladies of that period, and I know some other women like them. And so I was very happy because I thought that I would have more problems, but the language even is very awkward. It was not a problem, but basically they understood, both of them, they understood exactly the tone that I wanted to tell this story.
We very, very rarely see a story about female friendship, and especially female friends who are older. And I don't know that there's another filmmaker in the world that would do that other than Pedro. I have to say, it's the importance that he brings to it or shows us. It's so unusual and was so moving to me that he portrayed this relationship as so profound, because it is, and it's one that's sort of like unsung.
And now let's take you to North Korea. Children across the East Asian country took to the stage to perform a show titled We Are Happy in Pyongyang. The show was designed to convey a sense of national pride and joy, highlighting the innocence and happiness of North Korean youth. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.